Sadly, one of the things you're going to see while playing Roblox is the death of a game you really like or a game you really enjoy playing. That's just the way it is with games, especially with Roblox, where it's a platform and it's player ran. It's not ran by a big company or anything similar to that. But today I thought it'd be a fun idea to check out 3 quote-unquote dead anime Roblox tower defense games. These 3 games are actually going to be pretty popular, and I thought it'd be a fun video just kind of walk down memory lane and check out some of these games and see what they're up to now, see if the game is still being worked on, see what the game feels and plays like now, and yeah. But with all that being said, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that like button, and let's jump into today's video. Okay, so here we are on the first game I want to check out for you guys, which is Anime Royale. Now, this game has been out for quite a while and has been changing and morphing into so many different things that I don't even recognize the game, and that's not an insult to the developers or anything, but it's just when I first played the game looked completely different. The positives I can say about this game and all of these games that you're going to see is they do have a future. These aren't doomed games, right? Anime Royale, if you actually check their Discord server, you could see a really big message, which I'll put on screen, but essentially the TLDR is the game switched ownership and its identity was confused for a little bit, and they didn't really know what to do with the game, and that's fair. But now they have it all figured out. We have an update coming back, we have unban requests coming back to Discord, blah blah blah. But here we are in the game. The lobby looks completely different to me, but I still remember a lot of things that made this game special. So I would say the biggest things that made this game special was definitely 1, how they handled traits, and then 2, the amount of unique systems they did. So over here we have sacrifice over here, and then over here we have fusion. So this is something I've seen very few games do, but like, you see my Vegeta here, if I had a Goku, I could fuse them into Gogeta and I could get a double trait on them. Sacrificing, which is actually pretty similar, but you just take your main unit and then you can sacrifice somebody else and make them even stronger. So like Aizen, for example. I don't want to spend too much time on this game because I don't want to be here for 40 years, but there's a lot of content in this game. Obviously, you can see in the collection there's 206 units, so they actually got a lot of units in. Over here, we have the traits, which we just talked about. I do like how they handled traits in this game because each one kind of did their own thing. So each trait had their own use and usability, like Monarch, for example. Monarch's not even that crazy, but if you have a unit that's 8 placement and you get Monarch on them, oh my gosh, they are going to be going absolutely stupid in this game. And even with these traits too, are actually still pretty good. So this game actually had probably one of the best trait systems I've seen in a game. So why did this game die? This game's actually always struggled with player count. I'm going to be honest. It's always been really up and down. When it first came out, it got to 10K, which is actually pretty good for a brand new game. But this sat around a pretty low player count, which is really sad. Because if you want me to be completely honest, out of all of tower defense games that have come out, this is actually probably one of the more unique ones I think I've ever played or seen. But the biggest killer of this game was definitely the lack of updates and communication, because you would go months on end without an update, get one update with a ton of content and characters in it, and then for 2 months they'd be going again with no communication at all. And if you want my honest opinion, that is not how you should run a tower defense game. Tower defense games should be consistent, because even if you do a giant drop of content, right? Let's just say you do an update that has months worth of content. People are still going to quit after a month because people just like new things. People like to jump on new things. They like the word new, and they like to try and play new things. So I think they just took a really bad approach personally, because the game itself is not horrible. Genuinely, I think this game is a lot better than a lot of people actually give it credit for, which is, like I said, upsetting to see the way it died, because it's not that bad of a game. That basically wraps up our first game. Let's jump into our next one, which you guys will definitely know. Okay, so here we are on our next game, which is actually going to be Anime Reborn. You can see I'm very high level for this game, and I believe, oh no, I don't have it yet. I never got ranked, but I thought I'd have the CC role by now, but I don't. But here we are on Anime Reborn. Now, this is obviously I don't want to say classic, right? Because it's only been like a year. But Reborn last year, along with Anime Adventures, had a very, very great launch. And everyone really thought that these were the next iterations of Anime Adventures and astd, or excuse me, just All-Star Tower Defense. We're going to have these super big 2 tower defense games that are just running the market. But Reborn, essentially, in my opinion, threw everything away. And I think you can dumb it down for a couple of reasons. So one of the reasons I would say is bad leadership. I think the ownership was a little less communicating. I don't think they were communicating enough with their audience, and I think their biggest mistake was basically turning the game into ALS 2. I don't know if you guys have checked out Reborn lately, but let's just talk about this lobby. This lobby is so ugly in my opinion, and such a downgrade, right? This lobby is, everything's dark and gray and just gross looking. The last lobby I enjoyed a lot because it was like super bright and colorful and just fun to run around. This one's just like, oh great, I have to play Reborn. This is what it feels like to me, honestly. But the other thing is they let a bunch of the old ALS devs onto the dev team, and you can tell that because take a look around the lobby. We have Ulquiorra, we just have characters standing around, they give you quests. All the characters, models look super basic. Let's look at some of the early models, right? Some of these early models were good, right? I've always liked Reborn's models because they reminded me more of astd, where they're just simple. I mean, like, look at this. This is Gamma 1 and 2. It's very clear what this is. It's not super over the top. They're chill models. Goku, for example, too. Goku has a super great model. And I think in the model department, they've always been good. And then let's look at a newer character, right? Look at Jiren on the left here. Let's go back down and look at Goku. Like, these models, I don't know, man. These just do not look super good to me. But yeah, the game, in my opinion, had bad developers, bad leadership. But the positive thing about Reborn is if you guys are still holding out for this game, because I'm actually interested to see if they can make a comeback, right? Is if you join their Discord, which I'll have linked down below in the description, they have been making continuous updates on the progress of the game's revamp. That's right, the game is getting a revamp, and essentially what they said is they're going to bring a bunch of old characters back into the meta, and they want to make the game as fun and fresh feeling as it can be, which is super great to hear because I actually really enjoyed Reborn when it came out. I feel like I'm one of the few people in the world that felt that way because for some reason Reborn has such a bad rep because in some aspects of the game they kind of shot themselves in the foot, but I think the game was good. I think if this revamp is truly good, I think Reborn could come back to 10k, 20k CCU, maybe go even higher after a bunch of big YouTubers like Nagblox and like Codeboy Gaming and stuff like that, AB Plays, make videos on it. But Reborn, I hope you can come back. I think you guys were in a terrible spot. Obviously, you know that because you're revamping the game. You kicked the developers that were plaguing the game a little bit, and you're taking a step back and realizing the problems. And one, I appreciate that you guys can do that. And two, I really wish you guys luck that you can pull this off because this would be a really fun game to have back. And with that, let's jump into our last game. All right, now welcome to the final... Yo, get this guy out of my way. Okay, now welcome to the final game that I want to show you guys in this video, which is obviously, you guys all know it by now, but Anime Adventures. This is depressing to even be on this game because this is probably one of the most traumatic, depressing deaths of a game I've ever seen. They really had the bag in their hands and they just sold it. They didn't even sell it. They just threw it away. They ripped it away. And it sucks because Anime Adventures did have a really good base, and all they needed in the relaunch was just to re-up the game and make it feel like a current day tower defense with the game's mechanics, with the quality of lives, and with how it looks. And they failed to deliver basically on all of that, combined with them changing how characters looked. That set so much people off. Like, look at this. Look at this. What is this, bro? But there is a little bit of good news sprinkled in, like Reborn and Royale. That is not... The point of this video isn't to just shit on all of these games. I want to show you guys that there is still a life for these games. If you are okay with me making another video in the future, please let me know. But I've made a total of 2 videos on Anime Adventures with all the drama that's been happening. Unlike the last 2 games we've looked at, there is no official response from the developers on Anime Adventures, but it's pretty clear that they're still working on the game somewhat, which is super great to see. And the question is, when are they ready? When are we going to get this? Anime Adventures, I don't want to say they deserve a second chance, but they really shot themselves in the foot with this relaunch, and it's sad because, like I said, they had everything at their disposal. They had every tool at their disposal. They had money, the game was popular, people were playing it, there was so much content. But yeah, to sum up what those 2 videos are, and you can go watch them, which I'll have in my Anime Adventures playlist on my YouTube, but to sum up those, they're still working on the game, which we can obviously see. And there was also the Boss Studios, which tried reaching out to them. I'm not saying that they are working with them. I'm just saying it shows that they're still thinking about Anime Adventures. I hope this game can come back. Just like Reborn and Royale, this game means a lot to me. This is practically the whole reason I'm still even playing Roblox, if you want me to be honest. This is one of the games that got me to keep playing Roblox, so obviously I'm always going to have a spot for it in my heart. And I do think this game still has a well of untapped potential, even though it really shot themselves in the foot back to back to back. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I think that's gonna wrap up today's video. Like I said, if you're interested in me making maybe a sequel to this with 3 other games in the future, please let me know down in the comments. I did enjoy making this video, and I'm back. I'm officially back. I took a little bit of a break and I've been out of it, but I think I'm back making videos. And yeah, with that being said, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.